Coming up, I'll be telling you about 16 brand new horror books that are releasing in September 2022. I don't have any middle grade or thriller books to tell you about, but I do have 4 YA as well as 12 adult horror books to show you. I went to Barnes & Noble on Tuesday, September 13th to see which ones of these I could find, but I only ended up finding 4 and I didn't pick up any of those for myself. So no little mini book haul at the end of this video. About half of these haven't even been released yet, but I wanted to go ahead and get this video out so you can see what's already out as well as what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'll start with the adult horror books and finish up with the YA at the end, but I'll leave timestamps below in case you want to skip around. Let me know in the comments which of these you'll be adding to your own TBR. Charlie Reid looks like a regular high school kid, great at baseball and football, a decent student, but he carries a heavy load. His mom was killed in a hit-and-run accident when he was 10, and grief drove his dad to drink. Charlie learned how to take care of himself and his dad. When Charlie is 17, he meets a dog named Radar and her aging master, Howard Bowditch, a recluse in a big house at the top of a big hill, with a locked shed in the backyard. Sometimes strange sounds emerge from it. Charlie starts doing jobs for Mr. Bowditch and loses his heart to Radar. Then, when Bowditch dies, he leaves Charlie a cassette tape telling a story no one would believe. What Bowditch knows and has kept secret all his long life is that inside the shed is a portal to another world. It's been more than a decade since Margot Hall last saw her childhood home. She was young enough when she was sent away that she barely remembers its dark passageways and secret corners. But now she's returned to bury her parents and reconnect with the winery that is her family's legacy, and the bloody truth of exactly what lies buried beneath the crumbling estate. Alone in the sprawling, dilapidated building, Margot is forced to come face to face with the horrors of the past and realize that she may be the next victim of a house that never rests. Billy, Mary Alice, Helen, and Natalie have worked for the museum, an elite network of assassins, for 40 years. Now their talents are considered old school, and no one appreciates what they have to offer in an age that relies more on technology than people skills. When the foursome is sent on an all-expenses-paid vacation to mark their retirement, they are targeted by one of their own. Only the board, the top-level members of the museum, can order the termination of field agents, and the women realize they've been marked for death. Now to get out alive, they have to turn against their own organization, relying on experience and each other to get the job done, knowing that working together is the secret to their survival. They're about to teach the board what it really means to be a woman and a killer of a certain age. Sadomasochism, obsession, death. A whirlpool of darkness churns at the heart of a macabre ballet between 2 lonely young women in an internet chat room in the early 2000s. A darkness that threatens to forever transform them once they finally succumb to their most horrific desires. What have you done today to deserve your eyes? When Magpie discovers her own dead body one misty morning in Bristol, it prompts her to uncover the truth of her untimely demise. Her investigations take her on a terrifying journey through multiple realities, experimental treatments, technological innovations, and half-memories in a race against time and sanity. Accompanied by a new friend who is both familiar and strange, and constantly on the run from the terrifying, relentless presence of the mysterious predator known only as Silhouette, Magpie must piece together the parts of her life previously hidden. In doing so, she will discover the truth about her past, her potential, and her future. Lucky Girl, How I Became a Horror Writer is a story told across Christmases, rooted in loneliness, horror, and the ever-lurking presence of Krampus. Ro, a struggling writer, knows all too well the pain and solitude that holiday festivities can awaken. When she meets 4 people at the local diner, all of them strangers and as lonely as Ro is, she invites them to an impromptu Christmas dinner. And when that party seems in danger of an early end, she suggests they each tell a ghost story, one that's seasonally appropriate. But Ro will come to learn that the horrors hidden in a Christmas tale, or one's past, can never be tamed once unleashed. It's the last summer for Kit Lamb, the last summer before college, the last summer with her high school basketball team, and with Dana, her best friend, the last summer before her life begins. But the night before the big game, one of the players tells a ghost story about Daphne, a girl who went to their school many years ago and died under mysterious circumstances. Some say she was murdered, others that she died by her own hand, and some say that Daphne is a murderer herself. They also say that Daphne is still out there, obsessed with revenge, and will appear to kill again anytime someone thinks about her. After Kit hears the story, her teammates vanish one by one, and Kit begins to suspect that the stories about Daphne are real, and to fear that her own mind is conjuring the killer. Now it's a race against time as Kit searches for the truth behind the legend and learns to face her own fears, before the summer of her lifetime becomes the last summer of her life. Ever since their on-again, off-again college romance, Aaron hasn't been able to set a single boundary with charismatic but reckless Silas, who has been chasing the next big highs since graduation. When he texts her to spring him out of rehab, she knows enough is enough. She is ready to start a career, make new friends, and meet a great guy, even if that means cutting Silas off. But when Silas turns up dead from an overdose, Aaron's world falls apart. When Aaron learns that Silas discovered a drug that allowed him to see the dead, she doesn't believe it's real, but agrees to a pill-popping seance to ease her guilt and pain. When she steps back into the real world, she starts to see ghosts everywhere from her southern hometown's bloody and brutal past. Are the effects pharmacological or something more sinister? And will Aaron be able to shut the Pandora's box of horrors she has opened? Marion Shaw has been raised in the slums, where want and deprivation are all she knows. Despite longing to leave the city and its miseries, she has no real hope of escape until the day she spots a peculiar listing in the newspaper seeking a blood maid. Though she knows little about the far north, where wealthy nobles live in luxury and drink the blood of those in their service, Marion applies to the position. In a matter of days, she finds herself the newest blood maid at the notorious House of Hunger. There, Marion is swept into a world of dark debauchery. At the center of it all is Countess Lisavette. The Countess, who presides over this hedonistic court, is loved and feared in equal measure. She takes a special interest in Marion. Lisavette is magnetic, and Marion is eager to please her new mistress. But when she discovers that the ancient walls of the House of Hunger hide even older secrets, Marion is thrust into a vicious game of cat and mouse. She'll need to learn the rules of her new home and fast, or its halls will soon become her grave. In an isolated chateau as far north as north goes, the Baron's doctor has died. The doctor's replacement has a mystery to solve, discovering how the Institute lost track of one of its many bodies. For hundreds of years, the Interprovincial Medical Institute has grown by taking root in young minds and shaping them into doctors, replacing every human practitioner of medicine. The Institute is here to help humanity to cure and to cut, to cradle and protect the species from the apocalyptic horrors their ancestors unleashed. In the frozen north, the Institute's body will discover a competitor for its rung at the top of the evolutionary ladder. A parasite is spreading through the Baron's castle, already a dark pit of secrets, lies, violence, and fear. The two will make war on the battlefield of the body. Whichever wins, humanity will lose again. When Lady May turns 18, she'll inherit her mother's ghastly job as the butcher, dismembering Settlement 5's guilty criminals as payment for their petty crimes. But then their leaders, known as the deputies, come to Lady May's house, and there in the living room they murder her mother for refusing to butcher a child. Within 24 hours, now alone in the world, Lady May begins her gruesome job. But a chance meeting years later puts her face to face with the deputy that murdered her mother. Now Lady May must choose. Will she flee and start another life in the desolate mountains, forever running? Or will she seek vengeance for her mother's death, even if it kills her? Penny, an artist, has lived in the same apartment for decades, surrounded by the artifacts and keepsakes of her long life. She is resigned to the mundane rituals of old age until things start to slip. Before her longtime partner passed away years earlier, provisions were made, unbeknownst to her, for a room in a unique long-term care residence where Penny finds herself after one too many incidents. Initially surrounded by peers, conversing, eating, sleeping, looking out at the beautiful woods that surround the house, all is well. She even begins to paint again. But as the days start to blur together, Penny, with a growing sense of unrest and distrust, starts to lose her grip on the passage of time and on her place in the world. Is she succumbing to the subtly destructive effects of aging, or is she an unknowing participant in something more unsettling? New Orleans, 1995. Mina's having a killer Halloween. 3 months after Fangfest, Mina's settling into her new life. Despite the teething problems in her relationship with Jared, she has her sister back, new friends, and a part-time job to die for. Over Halloween, Mina and the gang have planned a spooky week of gothic restaurants, horror movies, ghostly tours, creepy carnivals, and a costume ball. But the fun doesn't last. Mina is on work experience with Detective Cafferty, while the police are investigating a savage, masked killer and a rise in suspicious animal attacks. During her own investigations, Mina discovers a mysterious group of slayers who are battling to control the rogue vampires. The threats circle closer as Mina spends her days with the police and nights with the slayers. Will she and her friends survive Halloween without being staked, stabbed, or bitten? The scent of the town engulfs Parker in its perfume the moment she enters the gates, so much so that she nearly forgets all about the life that she left behind and the best friend she abandoned. Coronation is a place where she and her parents can have a new start, and as soon as Parker gets there, its peacefulness puts her at ease. Everyone is nice. The tennis team immediately accepts her. Even the boys are easy to talk to. The only thing that she can't quite understand is the town's history, its devotion to the saint Rosamund, who helped the original town settlers survive their first winter all those years ago. But she isn't the only skeptic. Whatever you do, hold on tight. Don't fall down, the boy tells her frantically before the town's yearly spring festival, thrown in Rosamund's honor to encourage the harvest. But Parker can't help it. The vibrant festival immediately draws her into the gardens, the rows of flowers, the food, the laughter. Linked together with the other girls, Parker finds herself spinning with the other girls, struggling to stay in sync. Tilting forward, it's as if her balance has been taken from her. Because Rosamund has been waiting, Parker has been chosen. Coronation's next Rose Duchess has been crowned, destined to fulfill her role unless she can find a way to uncover the truth. When Springville residents are questioned about what happened on prom night, they all have the same explanation. Maddie did it. An outcast at her small-town Georgia high school, Madison, Washington has always been a teasing target for bullies, and she's dealt with it because she has more pressing problems to manage. Until the morning a surprise rainstorm reveals her most closely kept secret. Maddie is biracial. She has been passing for white her entire life at the behest of her fanatical white father, Thomas Washington. After a viral bullying video pulls back the curtain on Springville High's racist roots, student leaders come up with a plan to change their image, host the school's first integrated prom as a show of unity. The popular white class president convinces her black superstar quarterback boyfriend to ask Maddie to be his date, leaving Maddie wondering if it's possible to have a normal life. But some of her classmates aren't done with her just yet. And what they don't know is that Maddie still has another secret, one that will cost them all their lives. Pristine beaches, lush greenery, and perfect weather, the island of Casamata would be the vacation destination, if not for the curse. The Filipino locals speak of it in hushed voices and refuse to step foot on the island. They know the lives it has claimed. They won't be next. A Hollywood film crew won't be dissuaded. Legend claims a dreamer god sleeps, waiting to grant unimaginable powers in exchange for 8 sacrifices. The producers are determined to document the evidence, and they convinced Alon, a local teen, to be their guide. Within minutes of their arrival, a giant sinkhole appears, revealing a giant balete tree with a mummified corpse entwined in its gnarled branches, and the crew start seeing strange visions. Alon knows they are falling victim to the island's curse. If Alon can't convince them to leave, there is no telling who will survive, or how much the Dreamer God will destroy. So those are all the brand new horror titles that are coming out in September. I'm so looking forward to putting some of these on my own TBR. I would like to eventually read The Weight of Blood, and of course, Stephen King whenever I get around to diving into his work, but that's gonna take me a while to get to Fairy Tale. But I definitely want to pick up Daphne and Ghost Eaters at some point. Those sound really amazing. Before you go, let me know down in the comments which of these you're going to be adding to your own TBR. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.